So good afternoon and good morning if you're from the West Coast, and good evening. I can see already Anne is from France. So good evening. Thank you for joining us. And you're our host today. So we are lucky to have you. And we're gonna visit an amazing part of Costa Rica. I think all the part we have explored so far are amazing, but we are going to the Caribbean side. Huh? So you're the director of Terranova, or DMC for Costa Rica, and please start.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dominique. It's always a pleasure to share these webinars with you and with all our attendees. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. It is a pleasure to see you all. And well, like Dominique said, we're going to continue on our trip around Costa Rica. And today we're going to be focusing on an area that is very fascinating to me. It's an area that it's a little bit more of the beaten path. Maybe it's not that developed, if you could say so, in terms of hotels and everything, but it's such a rich area. It has so much to offer. It's very interesting. So without further introduction, let's explore the exotic Caribbean side of Costa Rica. So this is the map of Costa Rica, just to recap for those of us who haven't been with us in the previous webinars. As you can tell here, all the Caribbean coast of the country is covered by this province, which is actually the 7th province of Costa Rica, which is the province of Limon, which in Spanish means lemon. The area of this province is over 9,000 square kilometers. So it's one of our smallest provinces, even though it's kind of long, but it's very narrowed. So that's why it's a little small. These the population of the entire province is it doesn't get to the 400,000 inhabitants. This is actually one of the least inhabited provinces of Costa Rica, because there's a lot of jungle in some areas in the northern part, which are canals that are not good for living. So we don't have that much people living in the city, in the province of Limon. Different counties, you have Limon City, which is in the center. Let me point it out here. In the center of the province, you have the county of Limon and the city of Limon, which is the same name of the province here in the whole area. This is actually a port. Maybe some of you or some of your clients have visited Costa Rica on a cruise, and the cruise stops in that port city. As a city, it is not really that attractive, even though there's a lot of history around it, which is quite interesting. But it's not exactly the beauteous port city that you will visit, but it's a good gateway to visit different parts that are nearby. And that's why some of the cruise lines chose this stop as a gateway to discover Costa Rica. The weather in the whole province is very hot and humid year-round. Actually, the average temperature is approximately 84 Fahrenheit degrees, which is a lot. Definitely, October is the best time of the year to visit to the Caribbean. If you remember the previous visits that we did over the Pacific coast, October is the rainiest month in the Pacific side of Costa Rica, but it is the driest month in the Caribbean side. And the good thing about this is that it also influences other areas, such as the Arenal volcano area, which receives a lot of influence from the weather from the Caribbean. So October is the best time also to visit that part of the country. The weather here is amazing, and actually in October they celebrate in Limon the carnivals, which are of course not as big as they are like in Rio or something, or even in Panama, but they are a lot of fun and very colorful. And I will get to there in a minute when we see a little bit more about the history of this province. The elevation, it's actually almost sea level. There are very little high elevations in this province. It's a very flat province. Of course, if you get like on the southern part, if you go inland, you will reach a mountain range. But the main face the main area that faces the Caribbean Ocean, it's very flat. Something important to mention is that, okay, I'm talking about the Caribbean. So all of you may have in your head the beautiful turquoise ocean and the very bright white sand beaches. That is not what happens in Costa Rica. Remember that we have talked in the past that Costa Rica is actually volcanic origin. We came off the ocean thanks to the activity of the volcanoes and the different plates, tectonic plates that are in our on our roof. I mean on our floor, let's say. So most of the soils in the entire country are very fertile, but the beaches are not white sand beach. That happens in the Caribbean side. On the southern part, we have a couple of beaches that are very light, but there's even a beach that is called Black Beach, which is literally a beach that has black sand, which is so cool because it looks like it's sparkly. It looks very, very interesting. And those areas actually also offer very good surfing. And they have some coral reefs also that offer great snorkeling, but we'll go to that in a moment. Let's talk a little bit about the history of this part of Costa Rica because it's so rich and sometimes we kind of missed it, and to me it's very important to present you on that. You see the picture there, the beautiful lady wearing these amazing costumes. That's exactly what they wear for the carnival. This part of the country is actually the part of the country where the first African Americans came into Costa Rica. But before that, back in 1502, actually there was a settlement of Christopher Columbus at a little island that is right in front of the coast of the Limon city. So Costa Rica, at least that little island, was one of the stops that Christopher Columbus did when he was conquering the entire Americas. So it's something very interesting. We even had him step in his feet into Costa Rican soil, which is very important because he discovered our continent, basically. Well, of course, now everybody says that we're the Vikings, but there's a lot to discuss there, and that's for a whole different webinar. So we're not going to go there. Back in 1564, Juan Vázquez de Coronado visited the area, and the Talamanca mountain range became the house of the Bribris and the Cavecar Indians. These settlements were established actually in parts of what it is now this province, but because Juan Vázquez de Coronado came and he wanted to conquer the rest of the country, they decided to move down to the south, and they housed themselves at the Talamanca mountain range, where they live up today. Of course, they changed a lot of their ways, and their culture has changed, and they got more modernized, let's say, but they still keep all their tradition, the food, the religion. So it's very interesting when you are in this part of the country, especially in the South Caribbean side, to visit these Indian communities. Back in 1871, Minor Cooper Keith started the building of the railroad. The idea was to build a railroad that connected San Jose, the Central Valley, to the port city of Limon, because we needed a faster way to take out our coffee from the Central Valley to the coast so it could be exported. That's why we started bringing people from different parts of the near countries to help building this railroad. That's how the first African Americans came from actually Jamaica to Costa Rica to help building this railroad. I'm not going to go much into detail there because I don't want to bore you with a history class, but it is very interesting to understand how they decided or how they established there. We also had banana plantations over there by 1872 and by 1899. We actually got United Fruit Company coming over to Costa Rica, and they they started exporting the bananas from this province. Then we had a problem with an illness from the plants, so they left, and then they changed those plantations to cocoa plants to get cocoa for chocolate, and started exporting that as well. Then by 1948, we actually had a civil war back in Costa Rica back then. That's when the army was abolished in the country. And until then, all the African Americans living there didn't have permission to go and move around the country. They could only stay in Limon. So that's why they kind of kept a little microclimate of their culture, and that's why they kept all the traditions, the food, sometimes even the language up to date. There's still some people who speak Creole in that part of the country. The food is very different from the rest of the country. It's very spicy. They use a lot of coconut oil, which is very delicious, and they have a whole different vibe. It's really a Caribbean style, laid back, very interesting vibe. So that's why this whole area has a complete different flavor than the rest of Costa Rica, and that's why it's so interesting to include it in our itineraries, because it's a different face of what Costa Rica has to offer. The downside here, which is at the same time an upside, is the fact that there are not that many big good hotels. So most of our American clients get a little hesitant to go to this part of the country, but most of our European clients, when they go to this part of the country, they just simply fall in love with the place. They feel that that's what Costa Rica is really all about, and they just love it. I have a fun story about a lady from Switzerland who came in to the country. She ended up her trip in Limon, in this part of the country. She was supposed to take a tour, a transfer out from that area back to San Jose, let's say on Tuesday. She didn't show up. I tried to reach for her. I wasn't able to find her. Of course, I got a little stressed out because I mean, I need to take this client back to the airport so she can go home. Um, she checked out from the hotel that we booked for her, so she was completely disappeared and missing. Um, like 5 days later, she showed up at the office and she gave me her passport and she gave me some cash for us to save in our safe, because she decided that she wanted to stay there. And it was so funny because then I had the agent calling to see what was going on, the family calling to see what was going on, and here I was like, saying, I don't know, she gave me her passport, she's staying here, I guess she fell in love, I don't know what happened. So long story short, she spent about maybe 6 months. That's when she came back to pick up her passport and went back to Switzerland. So yeah, it is a very interesting, magical place. So beware, you may fall in love there. We have, of course, well, more history here. Back in 1963, they started digging the Tortuguero Canals to navigate the northern part of the province and connect with the San Juan River, which is our natural border with Nicaragua. So that's how the Tortuguero Canals came into birth, let's say. And then, I have a lot of things there that I don't want to really focus on. But this is a very interesting and rich place in the country. It has so much history, and it's really interesting to understand what's behind it, to understand why it is what it is today. But let's talk about what it is today. Basically, I like to put it like this. We have 3 areas in the Caribbean, 3 complete different worlds. Even though it's the same coast, we have 3 very distinct areas. We have first, well, it should be first Tortuguero Canals, starting in the north. In the center, but inland, we have the Pacquari River. And then in the south, we have the South Caribbean that has a couple of national parks, and it's also a gateway to cross the border and go to Panama. And we have a beautiful connection through that border with the area of Bocas del Toro, where, of course, we have our beautiful hotel, also represented by Dominique Sweet Bocas, which is a buyout-only property, by the way, but it's an amazing property that you can combine very well with this part of Costa Rica. Do you see, Dominique? I'm doing my homework here.
I see that. Thank you. I need to be very happy.
Awesome. So let's talk a little bit about each of these 3 areas that I mentioned to you. Look at those pictures. I promise it looks like this. I mean, this is not photoshopped or something. Of course, the one in the center, we took the picture at the right second, but the way that you see the ocean with this beautiful green emerald color, the beaches that are covered by forest, this is so interesting, and it is part of what you see in not only here but also in other parts of Costa Rica. But you see these beaches which are very beautiful and they're covered by forest. So you want to go and look for monkeys and maybe look for iguanas or do some bird watching, but then you're tired, you're hot, let's go back to the beach and get into the ocean. That's the beauty of this very exotic combination. You could do a little bit of leisure by the beach, just getting a tan and going to the ocean, but you could be also very active walking on the forest that covers these beaches. In the South Caribbean side, we have two different national parks. We have the Kawita National Park. This national park is great. It's kind of a little peninsula, which is very narrow. So you could go to the end and go back. And on one side, you have a mangrove, and in the other side, you have the ocean. This national park actually has beautiful corals. So this is one of the few areas in Costa Rica where you can do snorkeling or diving to see beautiful, colorful, small fish. In the rest of the country, like I've mentioned previously, you see more bigger fish when you're snorkeling or diving, because there are not that many coral reefs. Then we have Gandoca Manzanillo, which is another national park. This national park is not too visited, which is great because you don't see that many people. It also has beautiful beaches. So a couple of the beaches in the park are very dark sands, like the Black Beach that I mentioned to you. And we have Puerto Viejo, which is kind of the main village, because you cannot really call it a city. It's just a small village, which is kind of the center of that southern part. That's where we have most of the hotels, most of the restaurants, a lot of different activities. And it's a great area to go and explore and experience the culture that I was mentioning to you before. Some of the curated hotels that we offer in this part of the country, we have Aguas Claras here. Aguas Claras is actually my favorite hotel in that part of the country, in the entire Caribbean side. It has only 12 uniquely decorated Caribbean style guest rooms. They have 6 Pavlova suites, then 3 one-bedroom bungalows, 2-bedroom bungalows, and the Floralia house, which is a 5-bedroom house. It's a beautiful property. This area that you see here, it's where they have the bar in the back. Then on the other side, you have the restaurant, the main restaurant, and then you have the pool area. On the back side of the bar, you have the standard rooms. And then on this other side, you have the gardens where we have the villas. Crossing those gardens, you have a little patch of forest, and then you walk into the ocean. They are very interesting. The owners of this hotel, the owner is a lady who is a lot into art. So she always envisioned to have a hotel to display all her art. So it is very unique, very different. All the rooms have very different accents that she has done, whether painted or whether little statue. Something that I like a lot about this place actually is all the kitchenware on the restaurant, because it was made by hand. It's made out of the plates, and the cups are made by hand by artisans over that part of the country, and they're so beautiful. I've always said that if they will put that on sale for guests, everybody will take at least a plate and maybe a cup back home, because they are so beautiful. And they all have their stamp in the back, so it's very interesting. Like it says here, well, it's only 3 walking distance to Chiquita Beach, which is one of the beaches over there. They have a beautiful yoga station, which is very nice. It has little fountain in front and everything. There's a beautiful small beach club where you could have some drinks and where you can get assisted with towels and everything, a massage room, and they also have a shuttle bus that takes you down to Puerto Viejo town. The driving time from here to Puerto Viejo is maybe about 15 minutes. So they have this shuttle that takes you to the town, and you can also get bikes here. So you can go biking to the town or around. It's very, very interesting, actually. This is actually, this is one of the houses in the property. As you see, very Victorian style, very lush, surrounded by gardens. It's so beautiful. I'm telling you. This is a different perspective from the pool. This is one of the standard rooms, let's say, the Pavlova suites. These are very unique and modern rooms. And something very interesting about these rooms is that in the other side, you come out to a backyard, let's say, and on the backyard you have an open air shower. So you shower outside the room. It's very interesting. You feel like, you know, you're in a deserted island and everything. So it's part of the charm of the property. All of their amenities are actually handmade locally. So they are biodegradable, and it's you know, they have these very little touches that I think are very interesting. The other property that we work with in the area is called Le Camaleon Hotel. It is like 10 minutes away from Puerto Viejo. They have 51 rooms. The rooms have something very interesting, and that's what gives the name of the hotel. They are completely white. The floor, the ceiling, the walls, the bed, and they change every day the color of the pillows and the color of some accents that they put on the walls, like a chameleon. So that's why it's called the Chameleon Hotel, because it changes every day from color. And they change the whole color theme in the entire property, in the front desk, in the restaurant. So today you have the pillows in your chair maybe are blue, tomorrow they may be orange, and it's the same color that you have in the pillows of your bed and in a little decor piece that they have in the front desk. It's very interesting. It's very labor intense because I picture myself like every night an army of people walking around the hotel, changing you know, the pillows and the accent things and everything. So it's interesting to understand how they do it. But when you're there and you live it, it's very, very nice. I mean, you feel like you're in a different property every day because of those changes that they do. This is, for example, what they change. You see all those red pillows, they could be changed tomorrow for orange pillows. And the piece that you see on the wall, it's changed to an orange piece. So they keep doing these changes every day. It's very interesting. Sometimes they, like in low season, they may not do it every day. They do it every other day or maybe twice a week. But during high season, they do this every day. So it's a lot of fun. And you see the rooms are very modern, very sleek, minimalistic, but they're very inviting at the same time. This is their beach club. They have a pool area on one side of the hotel. Then you cross the street and then you find the beach club, and that's where you have access to the beach. They have in the beach club a couple of bars, a restaurant, and of course the pool area. And then walking to this side, you find a beautiful beach there. The gastronomy in the property is amazing. It's one of the best in the area. Like I mentioned to you, it has a lot of Caribbean influence, lots of coconut milk, coconut oil, some chili from Panama and from the Caribbean islands, a lot of spices. So it's very interesting. And of course, they have the best seafood because it's fresh, literally right in front of them. They have the whole supermarket to get as much seafood as they like. Some of the curated experiences that we can offer in this part of the country, well, like I said before, visits to the Kawita National Park, where we can do either hiking or snorkeling. There are very good beaches to get to do surfing. So whether you know about surf or you want to learn how to surf, we can help you with that. Like I said, the production of chocolate or cacao in this part of the country is very important. So you can get to go and see and explore the experience of how all the production of the cacao and how it's turned into chocolate, etc. And they have a couple of rescue centers which are very interesting. We try to help these guys at the Jaguar Rescue Center because they do a great job by collecting animals that have suffered some kind of an accident. Maybe, I don't know, they had a car accident, or they were pets in a house, and then when they grew, they couldn't have them anymore, so they just dropped them at the rescue center. Or sometimes, unfortunately, we have a lot of incidents with the electrical wires because the monkeys or the sloths keep walking or hanging on those wires, and they get electrocuted. And then they are taken to these rescue centers, and they try to um, do their best to be able to take them back to their natural inhabitant. So we support these guys by sending our clients, and also by helping with some donations that they require, that they request sometimes. So yeah, that's also one of the things that we can do in this part of Costa Rica. We have Gandoca Manzanillo hiking. We have the Indian reserves that I mentioned to you. We have a couple of Indian reserves there that are very easy to access and very interesting to go to. We have cooking lessons. This is something very interesting because you get to experience a whole different flavor from what you're experiencing in the rest of Costa Rica. And of course, we have the tours to Bocas del Toro in Panama. You could do a day trip, or you can go and spend a few nights there. It's very easy from Puerto Viejo. It takes an hour and a half to get to Sixaola, to the border. You cross the border, and then from the other side, from Sixaola, you go to a boat station that takes about an hour and a half or 2 hours to get there, which is Almirante. And in Almirante, you take a speedboat that takes about an hour, and then you get to Bocas del Toro. It sounds a lot, but it is not. It is very easy, and it's very fluent, and it's very nice, a very nice ride. And Bocas del Toro is very beautiful. It's an amazing place to visit. So don't be shy, and maybe pitch that with your clients, because they may be interested, and we will be able to help you arranging all that for them. Let's go to the center of the Limon province, but inland, where we find the most amazing place for rafting in Costa Rica, which is the beautiful Pacquari River. This river, it's one of the most amazing rivers that you will see in Costa Rica. Well, Dominique knows very well this part of the country. In the river, on this amazing wild river in the middle of nowhere, you find Pacquari Lodge. Pacquari Lodge is one of those amazing places, hidden gems in Costa Rica. A must see. If you ask me, this is one of the things that you cannot miss when you send people to Costa Rica, or when you come to Costa Rica. That there is actually the main restaurant of the hotel. And as you see right in front of it, you have the river, and all the guests are actually getting off from the raft to go to the hotel. That's how you enter the Pacquari Lodge. You do rafting in, and you do rafting out. For those who don't want to do rafting, you could do also a land arrival, but you have to take a tram that crosses the river actually to get into the hotel. And there's also an option of having a helicopter landing on site on the property. So if you ask me, and if the client has the budget, fly them in on a helicopter and take them out on rafting. The second portion of the rafting is the nicest, if you ask me. And the longest is about a couple of hours. The rafting in is about an hour and a half or so. But the way out is so beautiful. There's a section where you go on a canyon, and actually you can get off the raft, and you literally go floating on the river, and you have this amazing canyon surrounding you. It is so beautiful. You're really surrounded by nature. This is not for everybody. This is for that client who wants to have a very in-depth contact with nature. This is actually the pool. At the other end of the pool, you have the river. So it's like an infinity pool, but not looking at the ocean, but looking at the river, which is running right in front of there. As you see on the back of the picture, um, all the rooms are kind of hidden among the forest. This is an all-inclusive package. They include transportation, accommodations, meals, and activities. Why? Because there's nothing else to do there. You cannot go to a town or go to a nearby hotel to have dinner or something. Everything happens here. They also have a beautiful spa. It's small, but it's very beautiful. And they have a wine bar, which is amazing. I mean, again, you don't believe that someone had the vision of building such a place in the middle of nowhere in Costa Rica. This is one of the rooms. This is actually one of the river view rooms. As you see, everything is very rustic. It's very organic. They have, well, the Linda Vista suites are the nicest, and then they have a couple of larger suites. One is the Villa Jaguar, and the other one is the Canopy Villa, which actually you have a canopy to get into the villa and to get out of the villa. So it's a lot of fun. The rooms don't have air conditioning. The rooms don't have TV. Actually, when you go to dinner and you go back to the room, everything is going to be lit by candles all over the room. It's so beautiful, so romantic, and it's the best way to end a very active day. You have different activities there. You could, besides the rafting, of course, you have different hikings. There's a hiking that takes you to an Indian reserve. There's a hiking that takes you to a waterfall. There's a zip lining. There are night walks around the property as well to see those beautiful frogs that Dominique has on her back. So yeah, there is a lot to do in the property. We recommend a minimum stay of 4 days and 3 nights. That's ideal scenario. And if you are going to pitch this with a client, we need to make reservations as soon as possible because there are not that many rooms at the property, and the availability is very difficult because everybody wants to be part of this dream in Costa Rica. And let's keep going up north to the Tortuguero area, which is on the northern side of Costa Rica. Actually, in the northern side of Costa Rica and the Tortuguero Canals, we have a couple of hotels that we work with the most. One is actually Tortuga Lodge, which is this one that you see here. This one faces the canals. As you see, the water that is in front of this restaurant is actually a canal. It's not the ocean. The ocean is on the backside. And the ocean here is very rough. It's not good at all for swimming. In the month of October, in this part of the country, we have the leatherback turtles coming off from the ocean to nest their eggs. So this is the best time to travel. And remember that I mentioned to you that they have the best weather in this part of the country in October. So lucky us because we have good weather, and at the same time we could see the amazing turtles coming off the ocean. They mostly do it at night, so this is a night tour. They dig a hole, they lay the eggs, and then they put back the sand and they go back to the ocean. And then if you're lucky, at the end of October, mid-November, or if they start arriving earlier in September, you're able also to see the hatching, which is also so beautiful because you see these tons of little turtles getting off from the sand and looking into the ocean, going into the ocean. So this is one of the, this property has been completely refurbished. Actually, it was refurbished last year. It was purchased by the owners of the Pacquari Lodge. So it is now a sister company with Pacquari Lodge, and we can do very good combinations between the two properties. They changed the entire rooms. As you see, they kind of modernized them a lot, and actually they added some rooms that have air conditioning. Previously, there was no rooms with air conditioning in this property. Now they do have some categories that are that have air conditioning, which is sometimes necessary. It's funny because you don't really need it because at night it gets very windy and it's very comfortable. But if you miss kind of that comfort of the air conditioning, then we do have now rooms that can offer air conditioning. These are some of the, this is actually one of the suites that faces the pool area. And the other hotel that we also work with in this area is called the Manatees Hotel, All of the rooms at this hotel do have air conditioning, and they all have TV, which is also something that sometimes you need. I mean, nowadays only with the Wi-Fi, you could log in with your tablet and you can watch something there in I don't know, Netflix or whatever. But previously, they in this part of the country, at least, we didn't have that possibility. Now we do with Tortuga Lodge because of their Wi-Fi, and with Manatees, they do have actually actual TVs on the room. Only 12 fully equipped rooms. So as you see, all these rooms these hotels are very boutique. This one is also located right in front of the canals. The water that you see right in front of this pool area is actually one of the canals in Tortuguero. This is how the rooms look outside, and this is how they look inside. It's a beautiful property. They also have meals included in these hotels in the area. You have a full board, you have some tours included, and also transportation. That happens for both Manatees and Tortuga Lodge. This is the front desk, and this is Tortuguero. I wanted to finish this Tortuguero section with this beautiful picture because it gives you a real idea of how it looks like. As you see to my right, you see a little piece of land, and then you have the ocean, then you have a canal, then you have a piece of land, and then you have another canal. This is what Tortuguero is all about. It is what we call our version of the Amazons, because you use these long boats to move around. There's actually an airstrip here, so you can fly in and out if you like, with very good connections to San Jose and also to Arenal. And if you see at the end of this picture, there's a little hill, which is actually the Tortuguero Hill, which you can do hiking to that hill. That is kind of the tallest structure, let's say, in that area, because it is very flat. Actually, it's that flat that when it rains too much, it gets flooded very easily because it's very, very flat. Some of the activities that we do in this part of the country, well, we have the Tortuguero Canals. As you see in this picture, we have a smaller boat to get into a smaller canal, so you can get closer. This is a paradise for bird watchers. This is a paradise for people who look into contact with nature. We have hikes to the Tortuguero Hill. We have a visit to the Tortuguero Village, which is a very Pinterest small village. And of course, the turtle nesting season, as well as the hatching season. And with that, I finished. I'm getting good at this, Dominique. It took me only 40 minutes. So
thank you very much. So interesting, and not an area except for Pacquari River and the lodge that I knew already, but not so familiar with the rest. So that was really fascinating. Yeah? Thank you.
fantastic.
Thank you.
You're more than welcome. Let me stop sharing my screen. I don't know if we have any question, if anybody would like to add something.
Yeah, that was so complete that I don't know if we have any question, because
I'm sorry. Are you saying that I talk too much?
No, it's no, but complete in the right way. You said so much, so it was so interesting. I don't know if we're gonna have a lot of question. Laura, you said I saw the picture with a monkey. Are there area you can go to either interact with the monkey or see them?
Funny thing, actually at the Jaguar Rescue Center, they have an area where they do monkey therapy. And it is very interesting because it's a big space, and you get into that space, and then they let the monkeys get to you. So, depending on your vibe, and if the monkey likes you or not, they get closer to you and you can interact a little bit. They are, of course, monitored by professionals and everything. So, it's going to be fine, and it's very safe, of course, safe for the humans and safe for the monkeys. But yeah, you can get closer to them, and well, you could see them in the other parks, but not as up and close as you could see them here at the Jaguar Rescue Center.
Wow, so I'd like to do that one day, huh?
Sure, it's fun.
Christy, you said you missed the Pacific side. So all our previous webinars are on our YouTube channel, Dominique Debay Collection. And I promise you, they're all as amazing as this one. I mean, Henry has been comparing hotels, giving your input. I mean, it's really, really a priceless, I would say.
You're making me blush.
No, I truly believe. Huh? So is there any question before we say goodbye? Henry, maybe you want to review, I don't know if there is any COVID update, anything,
Okay.
just as a conclusion.
Well, so far, actually, we haven't had any changes yet in our regulations. Some of the hotels are requesting now a proof of vaccination as a QR code to enter, and they are not accepting people who's not vaccinated. But this is not in general. It's something that some hotels started doing as of February, actually. But nothing has changed. We don't need any PCR test to enter the country, no need for any quarantine. The only thing is that you need to complete a healthcare pass and upload there your proof of vaccination. And if you're not vaccinated, you need to purchase an additional travel insurance, and that is good enough to enter the country, at least by now. If that changes, we will keep you posted.
Okay, perfect, Henri. So that was really good. Anyone has any question for Henri before we say goodbye for the afternoon? Huh? And let you go to your beach, your beach area. I mean, you're doing some making
Thank you.
sure
Yeah,
the clients are
I actually have a hotel inspection later in the afternoon, and then I have to go and see a couple of venues where we're going to have parties outside the hotel. So I have to check on the decoration and the food and the whole thing. So it's gonna be a fun day today.
That's why you do such an amazing job. Me, I can say that we started working together only recently in a way, huh? And I have only compliments. I received some of you send me email and thanking me for introducing them to Henri and saying that you're the greatest and you're really fast to answer, creative. People love you, Henri, huh? And love the service of your company. So just
Thank
wanted
you,
to say
thank
that.
you.
Huh?
Thank you so much. We have a great team, and we all together try to provide the best service. So it's great to see that we are reaching that goal thanks to your comments and thanks to everybody's comments.
Thank you. Stephanie, yes, we're going to be sending the recording to everyone. Huh? Even sometimes some of you registered didn't have the time to actually participate. So we always send the recording. And you can find the recording, as I said earlier, on our YouTube channel. And also, if you know, we have a little appointment platform called www.letsconnect365.com, and you can take a 15-minute Zoom appointment or stay longer. Officially, it's 15 minutes, and you can discuss with Henri, future itinerary. And you can also, when you make the registration for this appointment, you can tell, you have a little comment box and you can ask him to prepare something, and you can add guests. So you can actually invite your clients to discuss what the itinerary that Henri has prepared for them, and they can already give their input. So it works very well. Huh? All right. So thank you, everyone. Thank you to you, Henri. We're going to say goodbye for this afternoon and see you again soon. Huh? Bye,
Thank
everyone.
you so much.
Have a good
Thank you,
afternoon.
Dominique.
Bye.
Take care. Pura vida.